there's a way to make an entrance.
This is my destiny.
It was now a conspiracy of witches.
Download Veely today.
Tonight on the House of Tiny Tearaways.
It's your daddy's face. It's your daddy. He's your daddy, mate. He loves you very much.
Tell him what you really want.
Marry me.
Only 6 days ago, the Taylors, the Bogues and the Larkin Smiths came into the house desperate for Dr. Tanya Byron's help. The week has been tough and it's finally come to an end. But has Tanya done enough? And are the families ready to go it alone? 3 families, the Taylors, the Bogues and the Larkin Smiths, have all come to the House of Tiny Tearaways, desperate for clinical psychologist Dr. Tanya Byron to help them combat their children's behaviour problems. With just 1 day to go, all the families are hoping that Tanya can solve their problems and turn their lives around for good. It's the final morning in the House of Tiny Tearaways for this week's 3 families. The Bogue family have been up for the last hour. The 2 eldest sons, Dylan and Rowan, are playing in the bedroom. Mum Amanda and Dad Morton entered the house 6 days ago. They have 3 boys under the age of 4, Dylan, Rowan and Arlen. But it's the middle son, Rowan, who is causing most concern with his extreme behaviour. Tanya noticed that they were over-policing their children. She taught them to be more assertive when the children misbehaved and more relaxed when they didn't. Rowan's tantrums have now subsided and the family are having more fun together. But will Mum and Dad be able to keep this up at home?
You do not hit people over the head. You will stay in here. Rowan, you do not hit people. Now, we will be out here when you want to join us. Arlen, stay away, sweetheart. Arlen, no.
In the purple suite, Mum Sarah Larkin Smith is getting twin daughters, Delphi and Rebecca, dressed and ready for their last day.
No. No. No.
Hey, stop it!
Parents Larry and Sarah came into the house desperate to stop the 2.5-year-old twins' constant fighting, hair-pulling and scratching. They'd wake up crying throughout the night, putting epileptic mum Sarah's health at risk. Throughout an emotional week for the family, Tanya has taught Larry and Sarah to be firmer when the girls fight.
Don't pull her hair.
And to return the twins straight to bed when they wake in the night. Last night, the twins had their best night's sleep ever, but will Mum Sarah continue to be assertive without Tanya's help?
Delphi! Delphi!
No.
Wow, Delphi.
Hey.
Yeah, into the bathroom.
Hello?
Well, it's the morning of the last day. The families all go home this afternoon. Let's talk about the Larkin Smiths, who arrived with a severe sleeping problem. That seems to have sorted itself out.
It's a great story about how to sleep train not just one, but two children. First of all, it is possible to sleep train more than one child in the same bedroom, and as we've seen, children will often sleep through their sibling roaring and crying, or they'll learn to. So for parents who feel anxious about, well, I can't do one because of the other, there may be a bit of disruption initially, but children will habituate and just learn to sleep through noise. The second thing is their behaviour is markedly improved because they're getting so much sleep.
You had quite a big consultation with Sarah yesterday. What did that tell you about the family, and how is that going to help her when she goes home?
I think there's a big emotional issue for Sarah which she recognises she needs to resolve, which is the death of her father. I think for Sarah, the relationship with this father has become idealised. She even said to me that it's the thought of her father is the thing that keeps her going every day.
So I'm going to let me go.
You think it's the one thing that keeps you going, but you know,
you're right.
the real things that keep you going are in that house.
Yeah.
To shift into her family in a very significant way, she needs to say goodbye to her father. I think then that allows Larry to truly be her husband. I think because of the obvious age gap, I think a lot of what Sarah was doing was projecting into Larry a need to be fathered.
The twins, Rebecca and Delphi, would also have enormous fights.
Rebecca?
You helped them manage that as well, in quite a sort of dramatic, Sarah, why don't we do this? And they were both like, oh, OK. What did you basically tell them to do?
To have the courage to be assertive and to say no and to stop problems escalating. I think that the key issue really is that Sarah has also got so many traumatic memories of the twins' early life. So, of course, when her daughters, her older daughters, who now are old enough to know they can use their behaviour to manipulate their mum, cry and cry and cry, she will come to them because she hears little tiny baby who might die cry, cry, cry. She also hears the child inside herself as well, crying and crying and crying, the child that never felt that there was anyone there for her. So it's all very complicated and bound up. By separating those issues out, you've got two little girls who can be parented assertively, with Sarah not feeling guilty that she's letting them down by saying no.
Mum Kim Taylor is looking after an activity for the children organised by Tanya. She's asked them to decorate some biscuits, but not to eat them until the afternoon.
Hi, darling.
Not eating them, Dylan. We can't eat them now. Can't eat them now. Once we can't have one.
Take off pink. Take off pink.
1 minute, let me just do Delphi's biscuit. Oh, I've got green.
I want pink.
2 minutes, you can have it.
I want pink on this one.
I'm going to give you the pink in 1 minute, Letitia.
Kim arrived 6 days ago with her 3.5-year-old daughter Letitia, whose violent tantrums were pushing her to breaking point. With Tanya's advice, she has successfully used distraction and bonding techniques to overcome the tantrums and unite the family. But with only a few hours left in the house, has Tanya done enough?
You're going to kick me. You're not going to kick me.
That's your name.
Stop licking off your fingers, Letitia, please.
Kim Taylor, let's remind ourselves, almost didn't come into the house with her son Connor and daughter Letitia. She was terrified, she was anxious. That was only 5-6 days ago. Tell me about her week.
An amazing week. She has shown extraordinary courage, I think, because not only did she nearly not come in, but when she came in, she nearly left.
Yeah.
I've never seen a parent do that in the house, and of course, if she had left, we wouldn't have stopped her. It was all about bonding. It was a very, very different story about how to manage tantrums. It's a story about a mother who gave birth to a child who, for many reasons, many really deep, sad and emotional reasons, labelled that child the devil.
Yeah.
And the child became the devil. 3 words to describe the child that's brought you into this house.
Oh, devil. That's all I can describe.
Devil.
It's just like, oh my God, what have I done to deserve this?
Let's talk about the progress over the week. Were you surprised how far she got it?
But she almost started as soon as her anxiety went down and she thought, OK, I'm going to do this. Before, those feelings would just be into Letitia. It's your fault I feel like this. I think now she recognises poor little Letitia isn't the devil. She's the cutest. She is the cutest little munchkin, I tell you. Oh. And Kim has learnt who her daughter is, how much she loves her, and how she can manage her behaviour when it gets tricky. Superb, amazing. And gosh, she has achieved in this week, I think, more than she ever thought she could. She looks happier, more sorted and more in control. Excellent tantrum happening. Sorry, look, Letitia.
What do you want for dinner?
Oh, she's so
ham
much
in a
more gentle
sandwich.
with her mother when she's cross.
Right, we'll go sit to the table then.
Oh, very good. Look, it's over. It's finishing now. That tantrum, had it happened previously, would have spun Kim out and there would have been an argument between the two of them. Now she's learning just to step back, let Letitia cool down and then hold her in a way that is saying, look, I am here for you, but we don't need to scream. Now, this is very important for a little girl where there hasn't been that kind of interaction since her birth. Kim did that brilliantly.
Really?
Brilliantly.
Careful, Connor, careful, because Ireland's are.
All right, they're really sick you then, son. All right, boots on.
Morton's playing with Connor in the lounge.
Where are we going?
Kim Taylor's joining Tanya for her final consultation.
Can you describe to me the kind of week you've had?
Like Sunday, we weren't stopping hours for just getting up and walking back out and I said, I can't do it. Just cannot do this. The time that I do have with Letitia, it's always, you know, it's not good. And then we've come in here and the time that I've been having with her is fantastic.
Oh, and how does
And that's
that...
what gets me more. It's like, It should have been like this from the start.
How do you describe your little girl?
I love it a bit. She's brilliant.
She really is, isn't she? Just lovely. And what do you think about yourself now?
Now I'm a person that gets involved with my kids. I want to be with my kids. I don't want to be, I don't want to just push them to one side and say, you know what, go away.
It feels to me this has been quite a life-changing week for you.
Yeah. I think that's what I was more scared of when we came in, is that, do I really want this shock? As if to say, you know, like shock to my system that, you know what, it's not Letitia, which it hasn't been. And I don't think on Sunday I was prepared for that. And as the week's gone on, I've just got like, yeah, this is how it is and this is how it's going to be.
And what's the shock been like?
A good shock. It's not been a bad shock because it means it's changed for the better. I know that I can go home and I can cope with anything that Letitia wants to chuck at me, basically. I'm just going to, you know, I know how to deal with it now without picking up and chucking stuff back. And it's all been good.
It's all been good. Right, and I do want to show you the process through the week. So this is where it started. Let's have a look at it.
Now. Don't scream at me. I'll go in your own room then. I feel like I'm being punished. And I don't know why. I don't know what is wrong with this kid. Or why I'm getting it.
Heartbreaking. What is wrong with that kid now, do you say?
Nothing. Not a thing wrong with her. She's just like a normal child that's going to have the moments. You know, and when they have the moments, I can deal with that now. And I feel guilty if I'm saying that.
Oh, sweet. Oh. I think I'll spend the consultation with you here, shall I? Why'd you feel guilty? Why'd you feel guilty?
I just sound so nasty towards her.
And you were asking why you were being punished?
Yeah, because I just felt like, what have I done wrong? In a way, I felt like it because Letitia's not got a dad around. I thought that like that were her way of getting at me, and I'm like, it's not my fault. But that's the way I felt it. Because she's used to her dad. She was daddy's little girl. And when he went, and it's all just been me, and I just thought that she was getting at me because he wasn't here. But really now, it's not anything to do with that.
What is it to do with?
It was between me and Letitia. And it's taken a week to realise it, but it's better than another 3 years.
I wonder what life would have been like if things had continued into her becoming a teenager.
I wouldn't even want to know.
Between you and Letitia, in terms of your relationship, how far do you think the difficult beginning and the lack of the bond, how far do you think that had anything to do with her tantrums and her and all the things that we saw there?
I think it were a lot to do with it. Yeah. And I just wasn't able, because Connor wasn't like that, so I wasn't used to it. And I just saw it as anger. And it's like, what's this about? What have I done? And it was me that were making it worse, because I've heard my tone of voice towards her, and I'm like, God.
If it's not anger, what are these tantrums about? How do we understand them? What's going on? Why is she doing all that?
It's her feelings coming out, and they're coming out the wrong way to obviously let me know that she's not feeling how she should. And I've realised that now, and I haven't heard her scream like that all week.
For me, the tantrums also felt like there was a lot of anxiety there in a way. What's she been anxious about, or who's she been anxious about?
Me.
I think so.
So she's seen her dad go, and I wonder if she thinks that I were going to go as well.
I wonder. We've got the first tantrum in the house. Hold that thought about your relationship with her and what she worries about, and just have a look at what happened when you came into the house in the first tantrum.
No. Connor wants to have a go at that, and you can have the brush for 5 minutes. We'll leave Connor to do it by himself if you don't. Go. You don't.
What are you thinking?
Just how awful it looks. And I just feel so sorry for her. And anyway, I can see, like, it been me being Letitia and that being my mum. 'Cause that's how she was.
So the pattern continues. And then Letitia has a daughter.
Then it just carries on.
Yeah, that's right. Lots of
So hopefully it's stopping now.
Is it stopping now?
It is. Well, it has. It has.
What do you now understand as being, or who do you understand, what or who or how? Where are the sources of happiness in your life?
This minute in time, and it should have been since probably day one. It's the kids. You know, they're not going to hurt me, so...
They adore you, don't they? And whatever life throws at you, they will always be your constant.
Yeah.
Now, this week, you have started to really love her up and show her how much you want her. And what has she given back to you?
Love and affection, which rubs off on both of us.
So now you're feeling wanted by her.
Yeah.
How powerful is that feeling? When you play together, when she smiles at you, when you hold her, when she holds you, when she kisses you?
Put feelings back in. And, that, you know, that should have been there, that she's my little girl now.
She's your little girl. She's the most delightful little girl. And the person she loves the most in the world is her mummy.
Yeah, I mean, last night I noticed it because she woke up. Well, she didn't wake up, she was screaming, but, like, normally that'd be home. She'd be screaming for Nana. Last night it was Mummy.
Oh.
And I was like...
She woke up in the night calling for you.
Yeah. And I was just like, normally, for months and months, that's been Nana. You're actually shouting for me. And I just sat in bed and I was like, I've never felt so warm inside just to hear that.
And how long is it since your heart has felt warm?
A long time.
And who'd have thought that the child that you thought was the devil, just simply by calling your name out in the night, could put feelings back into your heart?
Oh, I wouldn't have thought it, but I do now because it happened.
So does that not tell you that whatever's going on externally, whatever life throws at you, if you can hold that inside about you and your kids, you can weather any storm because you've still got them.
Yeah.
But fundamentally, however bad it gets, if you go home and have a cuddle with your children, suddenly everything else is...
It doesn't matter anymore.
And you can cope with it. You can cope with it. You are a strong woman and you can make things work for everybody. Because when it gets really tough, and it's been really tough for you this week, you pull out all the stops. I think you are an incredible person, but the best thing for me is that you are now starting to recognise it. And that makes my heart feel warm.
Yeah, thank you.
It's okay.
The Bogues, they were quite hard for you to crack, if you like. Throughout the week, you've been in here telling me, it's just hard, I don't know which bit to sort out.
I think it's because with the Bogue family there are so many issues that have to be thought about and kept as part of the bigger story. So we have a family with an eldest child with a diagnosis of mild autism who is being parented very effectively. Then you have second son who doesn't have a diagnosis of mild autism but is being parented as if he does, because that's what Morton and Amanda know how to do.
Also, was it quite hard for you, because these three boys behave so badly, if you like, at home. The biting, the screaming, the tantrums, the constant mayhem. And then they came in here and you didn't really see the behaviour until Wednesday.
That was a disaster. But then, when you get to Wednesday and that's happening, you think, well, hold on a second, that's probably telling me more. The whole point is that the emotional temperature of the family had changed.
Oh, is that why?
So children are brought up in a family where anger is so fearful to the adults that they don't talk about it, but it sits there like a big lump in the middle of the room. Dad has had such a difficult early childhood, childhood completely, right into adolescence. Mum hates confrontation, fears it, and is worried that Dad will be set off, so then tries to keep everybody happy and actually is feeling very unhappy herself. The children were showing that there was a lot of anger and sadness around by their behaviour. Parents relax, come together, start to talk about their own issues. Children's behaviour calms down.
Is there a risk that when they go home, they might all kick off again?
Totally, of course, because that's exactly what home has always been. Today, the big task is for Morton and Amanda to unify, to really, really come together, to make some kind of pledge to each other that helps them understand that when it starts to feel tense and angry again, they will always be united, they will never be apart, and they can manage this together as a really strong couple.
With only a few hours left in the house, the children are playing in the lounge.
Arlen, no.
After yesterday's encounter with Arlen Bogue, twins Delphi and Rebecca Larkin Smith get an opportunity to turn the tables on the boys.
Hey, baby. You haven't do that all again. Well, I do it again. No. Jump up in your
The Bogue boys are in the garden, making the most of the swings before they leave the house later today. They're being supervised by Kim Taylor. Morton and Amanda are in the consultation room with Tanya.
Friday, last day, time to go.
Yeah.
How do you feel?
It's just been lovely having a week as a family because it's been, I can't remember the last time we had this long ever as a family together.
Can you remember what life was like before you came in the house?
Chaos.
Absolute mayhem.
I want to show you today how far you've come. You have been incredible. I think you know you had a complicated problem, and I think almost up until yesterday we were all like, let's try this, let's try that. And then somehow, very late in the day, it all kind of fell into place. Mm-hmm. Do you want to first of all see what it was like before you came in? Yeah. Okay. Okay, well, just brace yourselves, okay?
Want to say sorry? You want to say sorry? No, right.
Awful. Absolutely awful. Yeah.
I think it's important to say that was like most of the day for you guys, wasn't it? It was just all the time.
Yeah.
When I asked you what your family life was like, do you remember how you described it when you came in, how it made you feel?
Sometimes I just wanted to get in the car and disappear, and it was dead stressful. Just didn't look forward sometimes to going home. And
like just, a war zone.
Yeah.
It felt like a war zone, didn't it?
It was. We were literally, it was like us and them, basically, yeah, and outnumbered, and you just kind of felt it was
a losing battle.
First of all, we talked about your interactions, Morton, and I just thought we might just revisit that, if that's okay. Is that all right?
Yeah.
Just to have a look at it.
Yeah. Do you want to pop as well?
You wait. Wait.
Oh, become...
Good boy. Rowan, wait. Rowan.
Rowan, can you be careful?
Right.
Can you get your
No
hat?
more on the slide. No, you're not allowed on the slide. No. We'll stand here. No, you're not going to go and play on the slide. No way. Are you going to say sorry to your brother? Well then, I'm sorry. You're not going anywhere. You can come and sit with me. Daddy asked you not to go down the slide, and you did, and you hurt your brother's hand. Okay? Yes.
And just to remind you, that went on for 7 minutes and 40 seconds. It's a long, over-policing kind of intervention. First of all, how do you feel seeing yourself behaving like that?
Looking back now, it was unfair. And I suppose Rowan did always get the raw end of the stick when it came to things, whereas Dylan was let off probably with a lot more. We're all, I suppose, making excuses for his autism. So Rowan always got the punishment, and whereas Dylan was maybe sort of let off a bit. So, and I don't think we ever thought we'd done that, but in hindsight now, I think we always did, which was really unfair.
Has that been a hard thing emotionally to process, that Rowan's probably really kind of suffered to some degree?
Yeah, I think because, you know, you're basically doing what you think's the best possible thing you can do for your child, you know.
From
and
love.
You know, you're looking at everything you possibly can to kind of make their lives as good as you can, and, you know, and then to sort of think that maybe what you have been doing hasn't been having the negative effects, really quite hard, you know. When Rowan was angry, I used to really feel like I was being pushed away by him all the time, and because I was trying to do everything to almost make happy Rowan, which I know is wrong, but that's the way it felt.
This is what breaks your heart.
That was what I used to sort of really feel like. I say that it was kind of, you know, this is a child that I love. But that was what I used to find so hard, because it was kind of be 1 minute I was being pushed away and, you know, headbutted and punched, and then the next minute I would be getting these huge cuddles and loves, and I used to think, you know, I just never knew where I was, and I used to find that really, really hard, you know.
The evidence of this week tells us what about you as a mother?
Compassionate, understanding, loving.
Help her, yeah, go on. Keep telling her.
Nag.
I just love my boys desperately, you know.
What kind of mother is Amanda?
Like I said, compassionate, understanding, loving. I suppose always there, no matter what.
So what kind of mother does that make you?
I suppose a good mother that'll...
No, not suppose. What kind of mother does it make you?
A good mother. Yeah.
Should we just reflect on how you've changed, Amanda? Let's just have a quick look here now.
No, Rowan.
You do not hit Mummy. If you hit Mummy one more time, I'm going to take you out and you're going to have time out, okay? You're going to go and sit on the chair, because you're not hitting me over and over. I've offered you to sit on my knee and you don't want to. If you keep moving, Rowan, we will go down to your room to do time out.
Rowan, go and sit yourself in the chair.
What characterised the way you managed him, and I think we've spoken a lot about, is that you keep talking to them and keep talking. You talk to him really in a good way, because you're very, very calm. And we've talked about how you're really good at that. But actually, you're both so calm that he can never see what you're feeling. And I said to you, please, can you be more cross? And that absolutely broke your heart, didn't it?
It's just the whole, like they say, the confrontation thing, which I know is stupid, but it's like, it just feels like fighting all the time, and that's the real thing I hate.
Yeah.
You know? So basically, I thought if I was the calm one and the cool one, that would sort of, you know, they would be calm and everything, which I know wasn't working, because you know, they didn't know when I was cross, maybe.
What has anger been for you both up until we've talked about it this week?
It's always been, I think, sort of losing control and aggression and violence, and that's sort of what it has meant. But I suppose over the last week we've learned that it doesn't actually mean that.
And why do you think for you that's been a huge revelation?
I suppose from my point of view, it's always been something that I've kept built up inside. It's, say, like a year down the line, you end up just really blowing, so the anger and the aggression that you have then ends up being twice as bad as it would have been. Like venting it, if not 100 times worse than what it would have been if you were venting it when it was needed to be vented. So.
But it was a big, scary thing for you. We spoke about it together, and I know then you spoke afterwards together.
I think with me and Amanda, it's, like I said, it's one thing we never talked about, so it's, I suppose in a way, let Amanda sort of know how I felt and what was going through my head.
I've always been the one who would try to talk about something, and Morton's always been very closed and won't talk about things, which I've always found hard, because then I would end up with all this stuff inside that I couldn't release, you know. So and it was always kind of feeling that I had to be the happy one and the calm one, and the, you know, trying to sort of balance everything out basically. And you know, it was becoming a huge weight on my shoulders really, you know, because he's the man I love and I've never ever hurt him.
So what are you saying to him? You're saying, trust me.
Yeah.
I will not hurt you.
No.
What are you really saying from your heart?
That I would absolutely love him to be my husband and my life partner.
So you want to marry Morton?
Oh, desperately. Yeah. I think we've been engaged for about 5.5 years. So before, when I was actually found out I was pregnant with Dylan, we'd booked a honeymoon, hadn't we? And we were starting to look into everything then, and then that all sort of fell apart, and then, you know, we did sort of start looking again last year, but it's just, when you've got 3 young boys, it's just, money's obviously tight, so I just won't.
Would it not be possible to just very simply and quietly do it together anyway?
We'd even talked about that, hadn't we, and sort of doing it and then trying to get a blessing later, but I think Morton's always had this sort of thing in his head of he'll only ever get married once and he wants to get married right.
Do you want to say anything to her?
I do love you, and I suppose my thing is just always want it done if you want, like, properly, and once it's done, it'll be it. There'll be no divorce, no nothing.
I don't think you're talking about marriage in the way that you're hearing it. Tell him what you really want.
Marry me. Be my husband as soon as possible.
Okay.
After an emotional consultation with Tanya, Amanda has some exciting news to break to Sarah Larkin Smith.
Because me and Morton's just decided to get married. Brilliant.
Oh, that's brilliant. Congratulations.
So I think I need to calm down.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I mean, we've been engaged for absolutely years and years, but you know, I kept going, I'm not going to do it, costs too much, and just keep putting it off, but we said, right, decided we're just going to do it. We'll have to have all the housemates, won't we? BBC, if you want to do a reunion. House of Tiny Tearaways marriage.
That's wonderful.
We'd make a programme, wouldn't it? All the children, bridesmaids and page boys.
Yeah, a big trail of them.
Yeah.
Over the course of the week, Tanya has become worried that Larry Larkin Smith has taken a back seat with his parenting duties. 3 days ago, Tanya asked Larry to take a more proactive parenting role by looking after twin daughters, Delphi and Rebecca, while Mum Sarah took the night off. He is continuing to take a more hands-on approach.
Just darling.
I take it warm.
Yeah, it is warm, yeah.
Daddy face. Daddy hair.
Yeah, daddy face, daddy hair.
And the
Daddy,
glasses.
daddy nose, daddy glasses, yeah. Daddy nose.
Now. Trunk.
Chin.
Face. Yeah.
It's your daddy's face. It's your daddy. He's your daddy, mate. He loves you very much. See?
The families are enjoying their last day in the house together, painting the children's faces. Delphi and Rebecca Larkin Smith are in the dining room with the Bogue family, while parents Larry and Sarah have been called to the consultation room for a final chat with Tanya.
Final day in the house.
Yep.
You came asking for help with your daughter's sleep problem, really quite significant sleep problem that was having an impact on a lot of levels in terms of sleep deprivation, your relationship and the fact that you didn't sleep in the same bed, and also for the girls as well, and also some thinking around managing their behaviour. Do you feel that you've kind of got what you were looking for?
We do.
Absolutely.
It has been a real labour of love for you. Would you like to be reminded what it was like before you came in? I must show you just so that you can remember where it all started. Here we go.
Oh, God. It's dinner time soon. Stop it. Come on.
Does it kind of freak you out just seeing that? Well, OK, let's... I really wanted to start with sleep, actually. That was my kind of first sort of thing, and we'll go back to behaviour later. But what I have got is the first night in the house, and I think this is pretty much what life was like.
We have to go to bed. Delphi, stop it. That doesn't help anyone, does it? Now, why don't you want to go to bed? No. Why? No. All right, I'm going to lie down now and go to sleep. You two go to sleep too, OK?
Crazy woman.
Sarah, you're supposed to sleep in the bed with me. You don't...
So, what did you think of... what did you think watching that?
It's quite mad, isn't it?
Quite mad?
Yes.
Now we've been told what to do, it just seems insane. It's a farce almost, you know.
But can we just remind ourselves that this became necessary because of a series of circumstances outside both of your control, and the fact that you have a condition called epilepsy, and which your fits, which can be severe and prolonged and life-threatening, are triggered off by sleep deprivation.
It was a very unusual set of circumstances, as you say. We just felt that this chaos was just another part of that particular section of our lives, you know. And we were dealing with a lot.
So things were at kind of critical point, really. We then decided to try a technique called rapid return, what I call rapid return, and that was pretty hardcore because what you'd been doing with your girls had been a much more of a sort of gradual withdrawal technique. And I think I said to you on the Monday, do you want to go hardcore and try and fix this, or do you want to take it gently and slowly? And you decided, let's just go for it.
I'm not coming here saying I don't want to do this and I don't want to do that.
You will have to be really tough this week.
Yeah, I know.
So here is the first night of rapid return when we all together spent that happy hour in the bedroom, returning your gorgeous girls to bed very many times.
It's automatic, isn't it? They both climb out and away they go. Mummy petting you. See you in a moment, dear. Oh, crikey.
And that was quite a marathon.
Yeah.
And then they went to sleep and we all kind of went... Now, it was interesting, wasn't it? Because I think you were quite shocked that it was relatively painless. There was a bit of crying. But,
Yeah.
I mean...
we were.
Were you?
Yeah.
So afterwards, what were you saying? What were you thinking?
Wow. Because at home, it would have just escalated. They haven't cried, I don't think, once as badly as they would at home if we'd have tried that.
It hasn't been nearly as the kind of slog I thought it would be. I'm amazed how quick it has happened, really. This week it's been a revelation, and it's been relatively pain-free. Well, very much pain-free.
So it's kind
really.
of positive mental attitude, perseverance, patience and commitment to behavioural
absolutely.
change.
And this sense of calmness, which, as you say, does transmit to the babes.
In terms of the actual kind of management at night, when your girls were screaming and crying, you were hearing something that actually now I think we recognise it wasn't. What were you hearing?
Well, my main worry was that, you know, it's because they actually needed my love during the night, but it's not, they just want to get their own way and get out of bed. And
yeah.
And, you know, in the morning they still come and give you a big kiss and a big hug and as if nothing had happened, you know, and I'm expecting, and still probably, you know, a rundown of the night, you know, was it okay to leave you in your room at night, and did you mind being in your room last night, and that they're not bothered at all, they've forgotten about last night, you know.
So has your relationship deteriorated with your girls this week since you've been doing this sleep training?
No, and that was what I was worried about.
Behaviour with your girls? Pulling hair, biting, head banging, sort of quite a lot of scratching, faces and things. We had, I think, quite an important day, the day that the buggy came into the house, if you remember. Should we just remind ourselves of that sort of moment of Delphi and Rebecca?
Hey, stop it!
Rebecca?
Hey.
She could be doing that all her life.
Oh, God. You see, we want kids with spirit. We want a little girl who can do that because it's just adorable, and also it says this is a little girl who knows what she wants, and this is a world where, you know, people take advantage, and it's a tough old world for children, it's a tough old world for adults, and we don't want compliant little meek children who say, OK, have it, and who say, yes, of course you can share. We want little ones that struggle with those issues, don't we? We want them to just be, this is me.
I'd rather she was like
to
that.
be alive.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, we've got to try and help them learn how to manage it. Your girls now are of the age where they should learn anger management. They should learn how to manage their rage.
Anger management course.
Well, I think we've kind of done it, haven't we?
I guess so. I don't feel they've calmed down with each other at all.
I think that's unlikely.
I didn't know if that was what was supposed to happen, but I don't feel like it should have happened. I just feel like I know how to deal with it, and that's good.
What's the new improved mummy then? What are these girls getting now when they're doing their big tantrum, Oscar-winning performances?
They're not going to get anything. The one that's doing that, but the one that isn't doing it is going to get some attention, and I'm going to sort it. But I'm not going to be tired, and I'm going to be alert.
Can you quite believe you've done this? You look so shocked. Oh, whoa.
She's done awfully well, haven't she? I mean, what she's had to deal with, the epilepsy, the sleep deprivation, the this, the that, and a grumpy old bugger upstairs called me. She's done awfully well.
It's almost as if something shifted for you yesterday. Yesterday you were sobbing like a little girl. In order for you and Larry to really be on track as a couple, I think you have to finally say goodbye to your dad. And I think that's so painful for you to hear, but I think it's the truth. Oh, sweetheart. In order for you to feel stronger as a woman and to feel more of a grown-up and feel stronger as a mother, you kind of do need to say goodbye to him, which then allows Larry not to have to also be the older man, the father and the husband. Larry can just be your husband because you acknowledge that your father isn't around anymore. He's in your heart, as you say. I think that's such an important point. But he's not there with you every night with his arm around you. Your husband is. So, yes, I miss him terribly. Yes, I feel cheated that he was taken away when I was 2.5. And yes, after that, emotionally, things weren't great. But that's for me to deal with. But as far as my girls go, I'm their mum, I'm in charge, and it's okay for me to say no to them. And it doesn't mean to say that I don't love them in the way that you might have felt. It's been a total privilege to spend this week with you. Thank you for coming in. You're such a lovely mother, and I think that you are going to sleep well, you're going to manage your girls better, you're going to have time for yourself. I think you have just done extraordinary things I don't even think you thought you could do.
A week of tantrums, tears and sleepless nights have come to an end, and it's finally time for our families to leave the House of Tiny Tearaways.
Oh, my mummy.
God bless. Bye, everybody.
Connor.
See you. Come on, Froggy.
Hey, little bear. Little bear with a butterfly on her
The sun's shining on this little frog.
It's been a great week. You have just been fantastic in this house.
My pleasure. Thanks for having us.
Oh, it's been an absolute pleasure. Well done. Well
Thank
done.
you.
Got 2 little girls who sleep in their own beds now, and a mum who's feeling a bit stronger in herself.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Good. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
The Larkin Smiths' time at the house is over. They came in with serious sleep problems, and the children used to rip each other's hair out. Are they ready to go home?
Totally ready to go home. Without a doubt, the girls will kick off when they get home into their own bed. So tonight, Sarah and Larry have to be very, very clearly, firmly carrying on with the sleep training. But all will be fine, because I think Sarah and Larry have united in their parenting and recognised that sometimes being quick, firm, but non-reinforcing is the best way to go about it.
What's been your highlight when you've been working with them?
I think to give a family what they're asking for in terms of results has been so very apparent with Larry and Sarah, and that is that they've had their 2 beautiful little girls in their beds and Larry and Sarah in the double bed, as they should be, as mum and dad, as a couple. So for me, that's been a great thing to see. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
But now it's time to say goodbye to everybody.
Mommy.
We've had a splendid week.
We'd like to say thank you to one special person.
One special person.
Bye-bye.
Oh, how sweet. Bye-bye, Tanya.
Bye-bye.
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 Come on, then.
I'll miss you, Connor. Thank you for being the best boy I've ever had in this house. Have you had a nice week?
Yeah.
Thank you.
My absolute pleasure. You are a star.
All right.
Right,
Bye-bye, my
thank you.
darling. That's okay.
How is Mum Kim going to cope with her new relationship with her daughter?
I think she's going to find it hard at first, but I think she is taking a new sense of self-worth, a real self-belief that she has achieved. And gosh, she has achieved in this week, I think, more than she ever thought she could. That has made her a different woman.
Thank you, Tanya. Thank you.
Thank you once again. We've learned a lot this week. It's been an experience that we have all enjoyed. I don't think we can wait to get home just to see how things do go. Hopefully we'll do as well as what we've done in the house. So just to say bye, thank you very much. Wave, bye.
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 Quick goodbye.
Thank you very much. My absolute pleasure. Brilliant, brilliant family.
Oh, don't cry. Mate,
Thank you.
fantastic bloke.
The Bogues are leaving the house. Maybe to go and make wedding plans.
What an extraordinary end to their week. He knew that he was frightened to say, yes, marry me now, but he put his fear to one side, as he has with his sons. That is incredible.
What happens when they open their front door to their home and it all kicks off again, if it does?
Yes, it's going to kick off at home, but what the difference is that these parents know how to manage it. And really what that is about is less time out, less over-parenting, less policing, and much more fun and unity, and Amanda not having to make everybody happy, and Morton just getting in there and having a laugh.
Bye-bye.
We win. Bye-bye.
We're definitely leaving the house feeling more confident and happy about our parenting, I guess.
It's been, I suppose, quite difficult at times. especially with some chats I've had. Hopefully we'll be a lot happier as well as the kids being a lot happier. And at the end of the day, that's why we came here for.
Are we all going to say thank you, boys?
Say bye-bye.
Come and get in. You come in the middle.
Thank you.
Thank
Say
you.
bye-bye.
Bye.
Say Alan.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
With this week's 3 families on their way home, full of optimism for the future, there's a brief moment of calm after what has been a tough first week for Tanya. But in just 24 hours, another 3 frantic families will be moving in. Next time on the House of Tiny Tearaways.
I have spoilt the bond between Kai and Paul, and I really do feel responsible for that.
It's really frustrating when Charlie, when he goes silent, because there's nothing you can do to get him to speak.
Daddy!
We've got a fabulous daughter. All we need to do to finish the picture is a daughter that sleeps.